Welcome back to Desert Smoke Reviews. I'm Wyatt.
Justin.
Today we're looking at the Nica Libre. This is the 1990. I've heard this cigar called the Poor Man's Padron, but that seems like a pair of pretty big shoes to fill. Let's see. Well, construction-wise, this cigar is a box pressed. I'm not sure of the exact dimensions, but kind of a almost a hot chocolate complexion. I see some seams, but I don't see any stems. Off the aroma, I get a very dry aroma. I mean, there's not really anything specific to it. It's just very dry, and it's not the how we stored the cigars or anything. But I've had this one before, and I've noticed that just in the general aroma, it always smells very dry for some reason. But I don't get much else. How about you?
Oh, my construction's fine. Looks not a lot, minimal veins. Seams are actually done really well. Kind of a soft, spongy pack though. Aroma, to me it smells like a nice dry powdered chocolate, like the sweet cocoa, not necessarily baker's chocolate. It actually has a relatively pleasant aroma to me. I know we always get chocolate, but I kind of do get it on this. The foot though, I get almost nothing. Maybe just some raw tobacco, not a lot off the foot. But anyway, let's get it cut up, toasted up, and see how she develops. It's kind of a bad cut.
Yeah, off that first puff, I get. It's hard to explain. I mean, that dry aroma has now become a taste. It's not really chocolate. It's not really sweet. It's just very drying. Definitely a long finish, but no real taste to me so far. How about you?
I'd agree. I don't get any of the chocolate in taste. I see what you're saying about drying. Almost, to me, it almost tastes a bit like a stale piece of toast.
Yeah.
I hate that. That sounds really bad, and it's not exactly a compliment either, but it is very drying. It's like a stale piece of toast. But anyway, I guess body's about probably very mild, same with strength for me, but it is just the first light. But unless you got something you want to get to the first third?
Let's do it.
All right, we'll come back to you as we get into the first third.
All right, well, we're about 10 minutes in to this Nica Libre. I am not enjoying this cigar so far. It's smokable, but it leaves this very, I use the word acidic a lot, but acidic chemical sort of taste on the tongue during the finish. I've had a horrible burn. I mean, it's like sticking up an inch on one side of the cigar, and so I'll have to fix that. But yeah, taste to me is it's not quite awful, but it's borderline smokable. Maybe it really picks up when we get halfway through. That's happened on a lot of cigars for me before. It's been worth the fight to get through the first half, but we'll see.
I haven't had any burn issues, and it's still mild for me, both mild in body, mild in strength. Draws fine, but taste, I mentioned like a stale piece of bread. It's really morphed into a burnt piece of bread for me. I used to really like these cigars, and something happened, and I've just kind of lost my taste for them, and maybe my palate changed. I'm not sure, but it's not as bad as Wyatt is his cigar for him, but it just tastes like a burnt piece of toast. It's very drying, and it's got a very burnt sensation to the taste. But other than that, it's doing okay. It's performing well. Let's get into the second third, see how it goes.
All right, well, we at least one side of my cigar has hit the halfway point on this Nica Libre. Like I said, I've had this one before, and I told Justin it's worse than I remember. the burn is just a disaster on this cigar. I mean, seriously, half of the cigar is lit and half of it isn't. And I've made continual touch-ups all the way through, but you know, Justin says, "Well, are you halfway through?" And I said, "Half of my cigar is." I mean, it's and the taste is just not awful, but definitely just unexceptional. Justin compared it to toast, like stale toast earlier. I would compare it more to the you know, when you have your toaster and you stick a slice of bread in there and the little flakes of the bread that come off. I mean, if you ever clean a toaster, all those little bits of toast and bagel
Crumbs.
and all that. Yeah, the crumbs. Yeah, I'd say it tastes more like that. I was really hoping that something would change in this second half, but for me, it's just not a good cigar so far.
Well, I've had tons of burn issues, just like Wyatt. Not quite as bad, but I'm gonna have to do plenty of touch-ups. Draw's fine, other than the burn issues. Construction's fine. I've compared this so far to stale toast, burnt toast. Really, the flavor for a minute there got pretty decent for me. It just became like a nice regular piece of toast. Still drying, but then this like bitter flavor came in on the finish for me, and that finish is very long, and so it makes it a bit unpleasant. It's not. I'm not having as bad of an issue as Wyatt, but it's definitely not, you know, a top shelf cigar. I'm not even sure if I'd call it a task cigar yet. But anyway, still mild in body, mild in strength. It's just kind of a nice toast flavor that's pleasant, but then goes into a very unpleasant bitter finish. But let's get into the final third, see how she develops.
All right. Well, we're at the nub point of this Nica Libre. Just a bad cigar. Like I said, I've had a couple of these before, and they were smokable, but just kind of an unremarkable stick. But I don't know what it is. Smoking this one, the taste is bad. It leaves this like chemical, almost sort of slimy taste on your tongue. That and it's bizarre because I said that it tasted dry, and it does taste dry, but that finish is just really bad. It's like I said, crumbs that have been sitting around for a while. This isn't something I would smoke again. Out of a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give this one like a 4, because I guess it is smokable, and you know, if somebody gave this to me, I wouldn't feel offended, but at the same time, it's just not something that I would smoke again. So yeah, unremarkable. Taste is pretty bad. I didn't care for it.
Well, I didn't have quite that bad an experience with it. It wasn't the most pleasurable cigar I've ever had. I didn't have really any construction issues, but now the wrapper's it's gotten hot and dry, the wrapper's starting to crack. Burn's always been a problem. Well, after the first third it became quite a problem. Taste still for me was just kind of the toast, and then that just bitterness in the finish. And that bitterness is just very unpleasant. If I was going to rate this cigar, I would give it a little higher. I'd give it a solid 5. I'm with Wyatt. If somebody gave me this, I wouldn't be offended unless they were like smoking Padron anniversaries and gave me one of these. Then I might be a little offended. But for the most part, I don't even want to say a task cigar, because it's not really, for me, I didn't really enjoy it. I wouldn't smoke it again. I still have, I think, 4 left in the humidor, and I'll probably just give them away to friends that don't know anything about cigars, because it doesn't make you want to vomit. It isn't something you feel like you have to put out. It's just not very pleasurable. Not my flavors. Not really anything remarkable. So yeah, I'd give it a solid 5. But you know, in conclusion, if you like our videos, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe. We greatly appreciate it. But until then, smoke them if you got them.